Welcome back. Let's see if it's everyone. It's you there. Uh, can you guys hear me? Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, just press 1. Yes, they can hear. Nice. So, let's check.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back. Let's check if it worked this time. Yarn add Webpack. Yeah, there you go. It was some internet connection bullshit. Just restarted the modem, and now everything is working. So let me just as you see, when you use npm generates the package lock, and when you use yarn, it generates the yarn lock. So I'm just going to remove both of them, package lock and yarn lock and node modules, and just use yarn install, and it's going to install everything again for me. And there you go, it's working. So Albus is here. Welcome, Albus. Welcome, actually, Yeti, from the east coast of United States. I hope everyone can hear me, and I hope that everyone it's you there. Nice. So as I was saying, this is a React application. We are doing all of that, and now we need Webpack. But we just don't, it's not just installing Webpack, but we actually need to create a script. Okay, so let's do the script things, and I will create a script called dev. Okay, that when this script runs, it's going to use the Webpack, okay, to run. So Webpack. But when you are working locally, what you really need, it's the Webpack dev server, okay? Because the Webpack's just the bundler. What the bundler does, it gets a bunch of a file, compiles everything into just one file, and puts it into the public folder. And I don't want that right now. I want that for production. But when we are working locally, we need something to help you to do that locally. So actually, we need two different things. So let's add Webpack CLI. Webpack CLI? Perfect. And Webpack dev server. Okay, I will just add both of them. Just figure out that, then don't save it. Okay, I just figured out that I'm adding Webpack as a dependency, and this is actually a developer dependency. So let's just do that, Webpack, and instead of add, let's do the remove. So it's going to remove everything for me, and then I'm going to do the same thing, add, but instead of using it as a dependency, we're going to do that as a development dependency. And there you go. Nice. And if you want Webpack to work for you, you need to create a file. So let's create this file, Webpack. It's webpack config.js. Okay, perfect. So when I run, where we go? So we need to create the scripts. scripts, and inside of this, let's create a dev script. Okay, and this is gonna call Webpack, and we need Webpack to serve something for us. Okay, so what's going to serve? We're going to say that's going to be a mode development. This means all the debugs and everything is going to be available for us, and we need to create a host. It's going to be 0000, okay, and port 80. Something that people asks me, why don't I use localhost in here? Most of the people just write localhost. Why don't I use that? And why don't I use, for example, 127.0.0.1? What's the difference between using this one, localhost, and 000? 000 means this machine for everyone. For everyone, I mean that if anyone on the internet knows my IP address, the IP address of my machine, and try to access the 80 door of my machine, this is gonna answer to it. If I use 127.0.0.1 or localhost, this means that just my own environment, my own machine, will be able to access the 80 port. Okay, so this is the difference. And why do I use 000? Because right now we are doing that locally, but we want to use that inside the Docker container. And if you use localhost or 127.0.0.1, this means that inside the container, this application will be available just for that container inside the container. It will not be available outside. So when I get to the container, I will not be able to get the information. This is the reason I'm using 000. This is it's very it's not insecure actually, but you need to understand that when you do that, you are opening your machine to the world, and you are opening the port 80 to the world and saying everyone can access this now. So but for us, this is gonna be important. So let's just understand what the Webpack file is. Okay, so I need to export something here. So let's do that in the old ways of Node.js. Why are we using Node.js here? Because Webpack, it's a bundler that's written in Node.js. So we are just exporting something for Node.js. Okay, and what we are exporting? We are exporting an object, and inside this object we are going to pass all the configuration that's necessary for Webpack to run. Okay, the first thing is the entry point. Okay, so what's the entry point? It's the first file that you want to serve to the internet, and Webpack's gonna look at that file, get all the dependencies of that, bundles everything, build everything into just one file, and put outside in an output file that we will create here. So the first things first, the path. I don't have path. Okay, so let's get it. So const path equals require, and let's get path from Node.js. Okay, so path resolve. Okay, and then let's get the actual dir, the actual directory, and let's pass a index.js JS file. Okay, so the next thing into the objects is the output. Okay, output. So let's do that, and output we are going to pass two different things. The path, okay, so the path is gonna be, let's do the same thing, resolve, and it's gonna be dir name and public. Oh, public. Okay, so what I'm saying here, I'm saying, hey, get the index.js, compile it, and please put it into the public directory. But I want to define the file name, okay? File name. And let's call it bundle.js. There we go. So it's gonna compile everything, and everything's gonna be just one file. It's gonna be the bundle.js file, and this it's gonna be to the public key folder. Nice. And now we have these. Okay. And when we are working with the development server, dev server, okay, so we need to pass some information again. So content, okay, content base. So we will do the same thing that we did in the output, resolve. So dir name and public. What I'm doing here is when you just call Webpack, so if I just do in my terminal Webpack, what's gonna do, it's gonna to get all the files, that's index.js, bundle everything, create a bundle.js and put into the public folder. But when I'm working with the development web server, I need hot hello and all of that, and in order to get these, I need to say what's the content base of the server that's gonna be served. So the Webpack, it's gonna serve just the public folder with the index.html, and it's going to create in the memory the bundle.js file, and this bundle.js file will into the memory put inside the public folder, and Webpack will be responsible to serve both of these files, the index.html and the bundle.js. Okay, we will see all of that working. And of course, if you were going to do that, we need to do this. So we need to create a script, and this script, it's going to serve the bundle.js file in the HTML. Nice. I want to do another thing. So I want to do another thing that's allowed hosts, and this is because in the future we are going to use Docker, and we are going to use Docker with a forgot the name, the traffic, it's reverse proxy. So we are going to use all these with a reverse proxy. So we need to create what's gonna be the allow the hosts to work with this application. So it's gonna be, of course, .tgs.com. Okay, this is okay. The next thing we need to do is the history API fallback through. Why are we going to do that? We're going to do that because when you're working with React and you access routes in your application, for example, let me get something. I'm gonna have the tgs.com, for example, spa.local.tgs.com/something, for example, user dash and some ID here. Okay, when you access this route, you just have the index.html. So you need everything to fall back to the index.html because this is how React works. And when I am working with the with the dev server, I need to set this environment, this thing as well. Okay, and as a development tool, I need to use the source map to map all the files that's involved in these to create just one thing. Okay, and then let's just use the resolve as well. So what's gonna be resolved when you are bundling everything, when you are getting all the files? What kind of files you want to be resolved? Okay, so let's just get here the files that the extensions, it's .js and .jsx, and that's enough. That's enough for now. Okay, and I'm going to do a magic here. People think that the only way to do that it's using TypeScript, for example, but it's not true. You can create all the modules into just one import, and I'm going to do that. Concat, and this concat is gonna get a src folder and the Node modules. So what is that? Extensions. Extensions. There we go. So what I'm doing this line is a magical line. What I'm doing here, I'm saying, everything that you have inside the source folder, it's gonna be a module. This means that if I create a folder here, let's create it, src, okay? Let's actually create this folder and put the index.js inside of the folder. Yep. Just go in there, yeah, perfect. And let's just move these to, let's get these, it's gonna be src, and it's gonna be index.js. See, this is really bad. Okay, so what's the magic about this line? This line is saying, hey, everything that you have inside src, it's a module now. What does that mean? If I create a folder here, for example, let's create a folder here, test. Okay, so everywhere I am inside the src folder, it doesn't matter, I can be inside a lot of folders. I can do something like that. Import whatever I want from test directly. I don't need to do the // or whatever to get to the test, because test now it's a folder directly into the src, and I'm saying for the Webpack, everything that's inside src, it's a module. Did you get it, Bruno?
Yes, I got it.
You were
Very
quiet
nice.
today, yeah. Nice. So, okay, let's save these, let's save that, and keep going. Okay, and now the modules. Okay, so I need to pass some rules for the Webpack. What does these rules means? These rules means when it's not a JSX file, or when it is a JS file, what kind of library it's gonna be responsible to bundle that for me, because Webpack's not gonna be responsible to bundle everything. You need to pass this information to Webpack, and this can be made in the form of rules. So rules, it's gonna be an array. Okay, so for the first rule, let's test. Okay, let's test, and we are going to pass regex here. Okay, so let's test everything that's JS. Okay, or JSX. So this is what I want to say. get everything that I have in my project that is JS, and this question mark means or, so it can be JX or JXX. Okay, and who's gonna? Well, of course, I want to exclude everything that it's inside Node modules. There you go. I want to exclude everything that's in that folder. I kind of don't need to bundle that because it's already compiled. Okay, so I need to use a library to do that for me, and this library we're gonna call it a loader. Okay, so what kind of loader are we going to use? I'm going to use the Babel loader. Okay, so if you are going to use the Babel loader, after we're going to use the source map as well. So we need to install it, isn't it? Okay, so let's do that. Yarn install source map. Oh, yarn install not. Yarn add source map. Nice. And yarn add Babel loader. Okay, perfect. So now Babel is gonna be responsible for files that it is JS or JSX. Okay, so let's just get Babel install, and let's just where is it? So let me just get Babel install Webpack Babel loader, this one. Okay, because we need all these other guys as well. Preset Webpack, it's already there, so I need both of these guys. I need Babel and yarn add. I need the core of Babel as well, and the preset. We will understand that in a moment. Okay, nice. So this is exactly what we are doing, the usage. So it's gonna be this, it's gonna remove the Node modules, it's gonna use the Babel loader. These options I'm not actually going to use here because I'm going to use a file to do that for me. And okay, the rules and everything. Okay, required, got it. Nice. So there we go. And now we need to create the same way that we did the Webpack config. We need to create a Babel config.js as well. Okay, and these files, we need to pass all the things that we're going to need. So we need to do a environment preset. We need to use the React as a preset as well, and something to transform real time, because again we are using Webpack development server, so we need something to when it reloads and when I save any kind of files or anything, we need to bundle everything again. So we need these. We need all these plugins installed. Okay, so let's add it to our project. So let's get this one. I believe this one's already installed, but let's do it again, no problem. Let's get the React, and let's get this one as well. This was actually, then I need to check the package JSON again. Yeah, let's just get these and remove yarn remove this one and this one, and let's add it as a development dependency. So I have my core and the plugin runtime to do it runtimely, to get all the environment that's needed, and React. So the bubble, it's gonna to understand the React language as well when it's compiling. Okay, let's save it, and in the package JSON, let's do that, but in the port 3000 for now. What? 3000. Okay. And let's see what happens if we do the yarn dev. Something it's missing. Let's check what it is. Can't resolve test. Let's just remove this one. And now. What do I have here? Ah, of course. I don't have this. Yeah. Yeah, it was successfully. I didn't even need to do that. Okay, so there we go. If we go to the localhost 3000, it's our application. It's there, and it is working. So if I change anything, like Breno, and save it, it's gonna save it with hot hello and everything that's needed in order to create a real React application. We didn't use create React app, and now you're saying, how does create React app works? Well, it does that, but under the root, under the hood. And now you are seeing everything that happens under the root. So you have the control of everything. It's not that difficult. You just need a little bit of experience doing these things, and with a little bit of time. Okay, I'm working with that for almost 10 years, so I'm kind of being there doing all these things, and I'm trying to pass all the experience I have for you, but this is really important when you go to create a software for a client or everything. You need to understand what's behind the curtain, and that's what we are doing here. Bruno, any doubts until now? Can we keep going?
So far, it's really nice. If you save some time to take a look on the Webpack documentation and how the things work, it's very nice. It's a good acknowledgement to know how to build it from ground, not just install and run create React app. So it's very important to know how things work.
Some people asks me why I don't like to use create React app. The thing is, when it started, it was a good idea, but as everything that owns it's globally worldwide used, it needs to fulfill all different purposes. Okay, and in order to do that, you need to bring with you a lot of things. So if you do create React app and you eject create React app and see everything that's behind the curtain, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of different configuration for different purposes and all. And with time, everyone goes to the repository and say, I need that, and I need that, and I need image, I need video compilation, and I need... Everyone says that they need something. And then they create React app, starts to get fat and fat and fat and fat. And nowadays, when you do that, you get a lot of things that most probably you're not going to use. just like with Webpack, a lot of different configurations for Webpack that you are not going to use, and it's gonna be there waiting for you to use, consuming memory, consuming everything, and it's not needed. So your application is gonna be not that fast and not that good. And this is not because of JavaScript, it's not because of React, it's not because Create React app or anything. It's because everyone has its own need, and Create React app and all of these is trying to fulfill all these dreams and needs and all of that, and it gets fat, really fat with the time.
Yeah,
And
some section in the in the future we can copy this project and just change to create React app base just to compare the bundle. It's a lot bigger. It has a lot of things that you don't need. Maybe you don't need,
maybe
but
you don't.
if you need, you just install and configure. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and what's the good thing? Because some people will say you're just saying the bad things. What's the good thing? Well, there's a lot of good things because as anything that was made by a community for over years and years, there is a lot of things that are um, there to help you. For example, if you use Create React app and you do the yarn start, it's gonna automatically open your web browser with the things. So there's some nice features in the Create React app that's there to help you. For example, when you do the when you do the when you need to divide the, because now I'm just using the bundle, okay, but if my application is really big, a big React application, and I need to divide it in different bundles, there is something there in the Create React app already configured to do that for you. If you want to work with videos and want to export videos from one site to another, there is some configuration there already that is going to do that for you. If you want to work with images, if you want to work with a different application, everything's gonna be there for you, ready to work with everything. But again, if you study a little bit, it's not that difficult. Let me give you two other examples. Okay, let me give you two other examples, and I just going to get it from here because you understood that idea, and let's just put it here. This is the CSS. Okay, so because we were just testing JS in JSX, if we have a CSS file, how would we load that into the public folder? How would we do that? Well, we will do that in the very same way. If it's a CSS, we will exclude Node modules, and we need two different loaders. Why do we need two different loaders? One, it's for CSS, okay? So it's the how can I say, the direct CSS. So if we just create, for example, a file here called style.css, just like that. And the second loader, this one, it's gonna be for CSS in JX. For example, when we are using styled components, we are going to use styled components actually. So this one is going to be responsible for that. So if we need to do that into use, so yarn add style loader and CSS loader. Okay, and then style loader, CSS loader. There you go. Okay, and if you have any different kind of files, because you're gonna have GIFs, PNGs, JPEGs, so we need something to be the file loader for us. Maybe in the future you can have a PDF or something like that. So you need a loader for that. So you just go to the Webpack, find the loader you need, and you can do that. So let's add the file loader. Okay. So there's a lot of different loaders for you that you can just do the same thing over and over and over again. So test for GIFs, PNG, JPEG excludes the Node modules and use the file loader. So if I create a file here that's a PNG, GIF or anything, it's going to be exported to the public folder as well. When we are using the development server, it's gonna do that by memory. So as you can see, there is no bundle JS here. But when you make it runs and you go to this website, it's working. Why it's working? It's working because it's in the memory. And what's gonna happen if we want to go live? Okay, what's gonna happen if we just want to make my application go live? Am I going to get all these files, everything that I have here, and go live? No, you don't need to do that. You just come here. Let's create another script here called build, and this build script, it's just going to call Webpack. Okay, so let's do that. It's called Webpack, and we are going to pass, where's the configuration file? The configuration file is here. Okay, so if I do yarn build, error, build not found. I didn't save the file. There you go. If I do the yarn build, and it's going to read on my application, and as you can see, now we have a actual JavaScript file in here. And look, it's a real big JavaScript file. Why do we have, hey, look, remember, create element that we have. Look at here, look at that. Create element div new brand new. It's here. It's exactly in the way I remember React in the old times. 2013, 14, it was just like that. Beautiful, beautiful. But well, there we go. It's here, the JavaScript. Why do we need all of that? Because all the React applications here, okay, everything that we have about the Reacts here, and the Node modules and all of that, everything is minified and it's put in here. And create these junk files as well. This one is about the license of this product, using everything, and this is just a map that it's created as well. I don't remember exactly why do we have the map, but well, what you really need, it's this one. So if I do that, open live server with this one, 12, not found, because the live server, it's not going to work here, because it's trying to serve in the public, and it's going to fall back to the, well, no problem, but we will see that into the Docker, and you're gonna see that this is going to work. Don't worry about that. But if you get these, and just these two files actually, the bundle.js and the index.html, if you get both of this file and put it into any server you have, it can be an HTML server. It doesn't need to be a cloud or anything. You can put that into a CDN or anything. This is gonna actually work, and it's gonna be really fast, you know. So let's get actually a new file, Git Ignore, and let's get this and put in here, and put the map as well, and put the license.tsx. There you go, and save it. Now it's ignored. we don't want to commit it, because if we want it, we just run yarn build, and this is gonna build the application for us, right? This is perfect. So we have all these things here, and another thing that I want to show you, bubble. This one. Do I save it? Ooh, this is guys. This is really beautiful. And what I want to explain you now, this is another evolution. When React started, it uses class. Okay, so let's do that. Let's just remove this, and let's just create the class here. Okay, so when your class component it's created, it's transformed into this. This is the final JavaScript that's going to production. Okay, this is going to production actually. All this code. Okay, all this code. This is what's going to production. What's the difference between using a class component and a functional component? So let's just compare the sizes. Yes, it's really stupid to compare the sizes. We know that since we were in high school and whatever, but let's just compare the different sizes between the functional component, that's this one in the end, okay, the functional component, and the class component, that's this one. And you are just looking at something, you see, for example, that the class component creates a lot of more things than the functional components, and we are just here looking at what exactly. When you are using class components, React will act as a framework. When you are using a functional component, React will act as a library. What's the difference between both of these? Why do you have, for example, the life cycle? Okay, what's a life cycle in React? When you have this block, for example, this block class that's just return a div, okay, as you can see, it extends this class, extends this class, okay. So every component, when you are using React class, every component, it's an extension of the React component, and the React component will be rendered inside React. So in the end of the day, everything that you have, it's being rendered inside React. This is because this is the reason that when you're using React as a class component, React is a framework. Everything is running inside of this. As you know, JavaScript is allegedly single thread. Why do I say allegedly? It's something that we can talk in the future, not right now. But let's think, for example, that JavaScript is single threaded. What's in the thread being rendering every time? When you're using class components, what's there? It's the React. React itself, it's there. And for every tick, every time you need to render the JavaScript thread, it's just React that's rendered. And React asks to the other components things. So, do you need to render something? Have you been updated? Are you going to be mounted? Are you going to be unmounted? And this is what this life cycle is about. So the life cycle in React, for example, when we have the did component update. This is a class method. Okay, this is a class method. The did component update, it's a class method. As a class method, it's extensible from React component. What you're doing, you are just getting the method that it's created in the React component class, and you are rewriting it for your needs. So for every time the thread is executed into the JavaScript, React, it will be there, and React will ask for every component it's in the DOM, do you need update? Are you going to be mounted? Are you going to be unmounted? And all of that. So what happened when we stopped using classes and started using functional components? Well, the functional components, now your component is a function. And as every other function you have, this function will go to the JavaScript thread and will be rendered. Okay, and it will be there. Actually, it will be there with React. So you have React here, and you have your function. It's a component, and another component, another component, another component, and then it renders the first one. Do you need to be rendered later? Yeah, you get it put into the line, and then you get the next one, and now it's this button that's the one that's gonna be rendered. What do we want to do? I need to render a div. Okay, so you render div and put it to the end of the line, and then you do it again and again and again. Now your function it's independent, so you just need that. You just have that function rendering. If you need to block this function, for example, this is a div, but you need to call the backend for information. This function will go to the end of the line and it will be rendered after. And the next component will be rendered right now and see, do you need to do anything? So now it's independent. When you are using React class, it's just React that's rendering. So if a component needs to call the backend, all the React is gonna be freeze waiting for the backend to do something. I know there's a lot of things that you can do in order to manage that and overpass that. I know, understand that, but in the essence, this is what's happening. So the reason why what you've seen here, it's really small, and when I get let's just remove the did component. And when you were seeing a class, it's bigger because a class needs to extend everything and needs to re-implement everything. So you need to have all these things in here, and you need a direct connection to the React. So React actually needs to be there. Let's just comment this, yeah, and needs to be there. And when you have a function, of course, you don't need all of that. When you have a function, you just need your function to be there, to be rendered. And actually you have the same thing that we remember. Create element, it's gonna be a div, it's gonna be props, and this is gonna be the block, and the block it's gonna be exported and it's gonna be imported into the render of the React function when it's called. So as you can see, it's really different, and this is why we are using. What's the problem? Why do we started with classes, and just 2 years ago, I believe that it was in the end of 2019 or the middle of 19, we've got to the functional. Well, because now if your component is just a function, how do I call React? Because when we have a class, if I want to make React do something for me, For example, when I update, I need to change the state. I would do that using the life cycles. Did component update, did component mount, component to mount, component this and that and that and that. So you have these methods to call. And now in function, you don't have it anymore because the function is independent. So how do you do that? Well, you use the hooks. So what's a hook? Hook's something like that that you use for fishing. So what's the hook? Hooks, it's this thing that's used for fishing. What is this going to do? Well, this is going to actually attach to React. If needs React. If needs React. Okay? And when it needs React, it's going to use this function, that's a hook, to hook React and pull it and say, hey, I'm depending on you to do something for me. For example, JSX. Okay? This, the return, in the return moment, it's a moment that your function will hook to React and call that thing in order to render it for you, because React is going to be the one responsible to call the create React element and do all of that. Did you understood that, Bruno?
Yes, I got it. Actually, I use hooks for many years now. When
It
React
can be
changed
actually
to
many years because it's
yeah,
starting in the middle of
I think
2019. So
I think it
if you're using
I
that for
think it
2 years,
was
you are one of the
28
first doing that.
I think it was 2018. It's about 3
2018?
years.
So
I
you
think.
created Rooks. You're the one.
No, I
You're the
don't
one that
remember
created
well,
the Rooks.
but I think it was. I don't know.
Mm.
I will check later.
I believe that
Uh,
stable one was in the version 16.5 of React, and it was launched in March 19, April or March 19.
okay,
And
but
there were
so
there were some people
it's
using the end of
it's not so
date.
many years then. It's not
Yeah,
so many years
yeah.
then.
It's
But
because
I remember.
everything in the science computer world is so fast that we have this feeling that man, I'm working with that for so long, but
So
when you really get to understand, it's like 1 year or 2 years, and this is the reason, for example, the HR. Uh,
18. I
uh,
told you.
yeah, but it's an addition. Uh, yeah, it's an addition in 10th,
But
18,
it was
but I
not this.
believe that it was just launched in 19. This was like, hey guys, you can use it. It was not in the stable version of React, I believe. So
But I remember that when it changed to hooks, uh, it was amazing and a lot easier. I think I don't like classes in the front end. Maybe in the back end. I don't even in the back end. I prefer functional over classes, but
yeah.
in the front end, I functional.
Um,
Uh,
there is
I,
another
I like.
thing. There is, you remembered me something that's it's really nice. If you get
Tell me.
one class, if you get one class against one function, the class is faster in JavaScript. If you get one class and one function, the class is faster. Okay, the class is gonna be faster. But that's not what happens in the real world applications. In the real world applications, you have a lot of classes and a lot of functions. And now the functions are faster than the classes. It's the same thing with GraphQL in the backend that we were talking about. What's faster, a join or a multiple query? Well, join is faster, okay, but the multiple queries, we are just going to do the first one 1,000 times and the first one with the second one 10 times. Now the multiple queries, it's gonna be faster than the join query. It's the same thing with the functions and class in JavaScript. If you get one function, one class, the class is faster. But in the real world application, it's a lot of classes, and the class extends, implements, classes. You know, classes. Object orientation. You need the the tree, and you get the tree with the banana, with the monkey, with the island, and everything. This is about the object orientation, and this is the reason that the function is faster, because you have a lot of different and small functions, and everything can be executed at the same time. If any of the functions needs to do something, so you just get and put into the line and say, we are going to do that later, you get to the next one. So in the end of the day, functions, the amount of functions, all the functions that you have together, it's gonna be faster than the classes. But of course, when you see the comparison in internet places, you're gonna see that, hey, I'm testing this function and I'm testing these classes faster. But the number is always a computational number, like 0.0000000 something seconds faster. Okay? But just to make it more clear. Okay? Nice. So I believe that this is an enough and a good content for today. So we learned about React. We learned about the fundamentals part of React, and we are understanding everything that's needed in order to create a React application. We need a bundler, and we need libraries to compile the things that we need, so everything is in place. So in the next live we can actually start going further and improving everything. Nice, Bruno?
Nice, very nice.
Nice chat.
Looking forward for it.
Looking forward for it. That's really nice. So, well, I would like to say thank you for everyone that's here. Actually, Yeti, Albus, another viewer, Astrolabia, Aitan, Airamisu, Bruno, Commander Root, Community Showcase, Debbie, Curly, Hugo, Melky Dev, Rafas, and Vital. Thank you everyone to be here until now, and in the next live we will keep going with that and understanding better all these JavaScript words. Let me just see if I got someone.
Guys, thanks Devs, thanks Albus.
Thanks
See you on
everyone.
Thursday.
Yeah. Let me. She's not here. I was looking for.
I'm not gonna sing that.
I'm not gonna sing what? There's a girl. She's a game dev. Let's help the female community and let's raid to that girl. Let's see, and there we go. Guys, thank you very much. See you in the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye.